love the part when I was like,
Give me a little kamikaze. Give me a little bonsai. Wake up in here.
They're going to the land where the code of the ninjas began.
You are not Japanese. I can do it.
Now, for the first time, the true story.
Welcome Japan.
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 Welcome Japan. Welcome Japan.
Welcome Japan.
Welcome Japan.
Welcome Japan.
I'm nothing but a worthless gaijin.
Okay. Okay, started there. Cool. So let's start. 5, 4, 3. Hey, everybody out there on the YouTube source. It's your good old brother. Sorry, cut. Wow. Hey, everybody out there on the YouTube source. This is your good old buddy TkyoSam coming to you live from Tokyo, Japan today. How y'all doing? So anyway, we are back again with the Welcome Japan podcast, and today the prefecture that we are covering is Kumamoto Prefecture in southern Japan, known recently for the big earthquake they had last year in 2016. They're also known for a bunch of other stuff, and today I am joined with a fellow YouTuber, Mr. Tino, Mr. Mexican Samurai, and he is going to, just like every other podcast that we've done so far, we're going to learn a little bit about Tino, his background, and currently what he's up to, and then he's going to tell us a little bit about the prefecture, and then afterwards he's going to share some fun stories that he has from that prefecture, and then afterwards he's going to be able to plug all the fun, happy stuff that he wants to plug at the end of the video. And thanks for joining me today, Tino. Sorry, I was just talking to my buddy Tony, like right before.
Tony, Tino, Tim, it doesn't matter. I've been called them all. Yeah. Thanks for inviting me, man. Any opportunity to talk about my hood, I am very, very happy to do so. Okay. So thank you for that.
Thank you. Hey, man, thanks for being here. We're both currently it's 10:30. And here, 10:30 p.m. here, and this is how much we care about making this podcast and showing the world how awesome Japan is, guys. We're doing it late nights.
Absolutely.
So let's get into the man, the myth, the legend, Tino. So I called you Mexican Samurai earlier, but I know you have a couple other online handles. What are they?
Well, I am coming to you straight from my Kyushu Danji 100 channel. I'm spending a lot of this time over here because it's just, a lot of good stuff with the family, especially Roman. He's getting older now. He's 10 now, and, he collaborates with me a lot of stuff. He's been doing that a lot, so I'm having a lot of fun over here. Mexican Samurai channel, that's my home base. That's the one where I like to talk to my peeps. Just like to get in contact with people.
So Kyushu Danshi and Mexican Samurai.
Yeah.
Okay, so everybody, he's gonna anything about finding Tino later, it's gonna be down in the description down below if you're watching this on YouTube or Facebook. Make sure if you have any questions, like we always say at the end of the podcast, if you have any questions or further questions for the guest, please write them down, and we'll get back to you on that. So, Tino, where are you from?
I am from Los Angeles, California.
Awesome. And how old are you right now?
I am currently in 51. I just turned 51 not too long ago.
Congratulations, man.
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah. So how long have you been in Japan?
This is my 26th year.
Nice. You got 16 years on me. I got beat. So, are you married? Are you in a relationship? If so, is it with a Japanese person?
I am married. I am married to my best friend, my ride or die. And we have a child, Roman.
She's Japanese, right?
Exactly.
Okay. Awesome. And how's your Japanese level, writing, speaking, reading wise? And I'm not talking about JLPT. I mean, can you call your internet company if you have a problem to set up your wireless router, with no Japanese help?
Well, just to give an example, I set my own school up by myself before I met my wife. So
wow.
I was going into our marriage with my own school. I had to do everything, man. I had to do it from day one. So my Japanese level is yeah, it's better than most. You know, I
That's
have no problem whatsoever. I can order a pizza on the telephone. It doesn't matter. You know, yeah, I can do anything, man. I can. Um, I'm also into translating, also interpreting as well. So you know, that's pretty fun as well.
okay. Awesome. So so that answers that question, guys. So, can you tell us specifically how did you move to Japan? For instance, I came here on a tourist visa, and I found a job like within the first week, and then I got sponsored by a private ALT company, and that's how I got like my foot in the door in Japan. What about you?
Well, I came out to visit my mother's family. Never met them before, so I'm in LA. I'm pretty much bored. Pretty much accomplished everything I wanted to do in life. So now I want to learn my mother's native tongue.
Is
My
your
mother's
mother?
Japanese. My
Oh,
mother is
okay.
Japanese. So she's a native from Kagoshima prefecture, which is south of us.
Okay.
And I came out to visit her people here. Just really fell in love with the country back then, and then I decided to, study the language. And I quickly understood that in order for me to learn this language, I would basically have to immerse myself into it. Back then we didn't have the internet or YouTube or anything like that, so it was pretty rough.
Yeah.
But I came out here for a year. I told my people back home, I'm going to Japan for a year, and they were like, "All right, yeah, you won't last 6 months, blah blah blah." But I stuck out the year, and I wasn't ready to go back home yet. So I wanted to see more of it. So I transferred from Kagoshima to Kumamoto, and that's where I am now.
Were you
I've been here
were
ever since.
Did you come over as an English teacher? Were you at a language school? Or
Oh
were you just
no,
chilling
no.
or?
I had the opportunity to teach for an agriculture high school in Kagoshima. But that was not my intention. I learned that you could come out here and not teach English, but be an assistant language teacher
Yeah.
to the Japanese English teacher in the classroom. Basically, they just told me I had to read from a textbook and just pronounce verbs and nouns and what have you. And it was a piece of cake job. So I was like, well, I could do that and study Japanese at the same time. That was cool. So I heard that they had that type of job, but I just didn't know how about going to get one of those positions. So I went to the town office and I just basically asked them if they were hiring.
Okay.
And they had just let their ALT go
Oh,
that
wow.
same day.
Wow. Okay. Talk about
Um,
timing.
he was just notorious for coming in drunk on Mondays. And he was
What a piece of
American.
shit. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. He was American, and they pretty much had a negative image of what Americans were like. So, but they had reason to. But they told me that yeah, they were looking for somebody, and I said, well, look, it's summer vacation now. I can come back within a month. I just got to get things situated there back home, and I can be back and ready to go if you want. And they was like, okay, yeah, okay. So they gave me a job right there on the spot.
Wow. So since you're half Japanese, you don't need a visa for the country then, I guess,
I
right?
don't need yeah, I don't need the visa. Yeah.
Nice. So you were like, you're pretty much free sailing. You just looking for. That's awesome, dude. Hell
Yeah.
yeah. So so I guess that's how you moved to Japan. You came over for a little bit to taste it a little bit, and then you're just like, I kind of like it here. I want to stay longer. So you went back home, set up.
It
Yep.
just went year by year, man. It went month by month, week by week, literally. It was like I planned a year, and that was it. And then that within that years, I fell in love with the job that I was doing. They gave me a position as an ALT, not as an ALT during the day, but at night I was working part time at this Eikawa school, and
Okay.
I was like, damn, I'm pretty good at this stuff. And then so I wanted to see if I could do more. So that's why I came to Kumamoto. I got hired by the biggest Eikaiwa school here, and I got that job right after my interview. I
That's
interviewed for the
awesome.
job. They say, "Hey, could you start tonight?" Somebody called in sick. I said, "Is he American?" Yep. I'm like, "All right, yeah, I'm here. Let me do it." All right, cool. So I was like, I just took everything day by day. I got to tell you, Sam, a lot of stuff was not planned out.
Well, no, I
It
mean,
just happened,
I mean, hey, I think everybody when they first come here, and they kind of just fall into it, it's day by day. But I mean, like, for example, like I came over here, and I was supposed to like I had finished school and I was supposed to come here for like a month with my buddies, then go back home, find a real boy job, and for like a year save money and then come back here. But my friend who had already moved here like 6 years before, and he's like, just apply anyway. You'll find a job anyway. And I had applied like a week or two before I came over here, and I didn't get any responses. But as soon as I land, I start getting all these responses back, being like, "You should come in for an interview." And then they were just like, "Oh yeah, you can totally." And I only had like $2,000 in my bank, and I was like, my roommate was so pissed. I asked my uncle and my brother just to clear out my stuff, just give all of it to Goodwill, and while I was here, because there's nothing I could do about it, and just keep the valuables at my mom's house or something. But that's, I found an ALT job. They're like, we'll move you to Chiba. It was cool, but I mean, of course, I was taking it day by day and everything. But I mean, it's just thinking about, if I was a big anime geek before I came here. I loved anime. My mom didn't like guns, so in my house when we were younger, she only let us watch Jackie Chan movies, like Asian movies, because they fight but they don't have guns. So and then I eventually graduated to anime, and I liked video games and comics and stuff. And everything I wanted in Japan everything that I wanted, I could buy for cheaper, and it would be more like I could have like multiples of them if I came to Japan. So I was like, well, why not just come and check it out? And if and I was like, I always wanted to be here. I was always fascinated with it. But I mean, what are 3 reasons if you had to pick? Because like yours is kind of a special case because your mom was Japanese, and maybe you were exposed to Japanese culture before you coming over here. But
not at all. The only Japanese exposure that I did have, it wasn't through anime or anything like that, because our generations are different.
Yeah.
You got to understand that from the very beginning.
Of course,
we didn't have the Pokemon and stuff like that. Mine was from Jidai Geki, the samurai movies. I'm talking about Akira.
I love Zatoichi.
Yeah, Zatoichi. I'm talking about Lightning Swords of Death. Okay, Shogun Assassin.
Yeah, Shogun
AKA
Assassin.
Also known as that, right? So it's like I grew up watching these movies, and it was like that was the only exposure that I had to Japanese culture, because my mom, she was so Americanized. She was like, you don't need to learn Japanese because they don't speak Japanese. They only speak Japanese in Japan, and she had this really thick accent, and she kept that forever. And it's like I loved it because it just she didn't want to lose it, and she didn't feel that she had to. And it was just a really, really cool accent. She always sounded like Mr. Miyagi when he talked,
Yeah.
And it's like I love the accent that she had, and I always wanted to learn the language, but she never wanted to teach it to me. So and I said, well, you know what, forget it. I'm just gonna come out here and do it myself. And just the language was probably my main motivation to come out here.
Once you learn the language, did you start trying to talk to your mom in Japanese? Was she all freaked out?
I did. It freaked her out, man. She never responded to me, and our conversations were very, very strange. I'd be speaking to her in Japanese, and she'd answer me in English, and she'd just eventually just say, "You know what? Stop speaking Japanese. It just sounds weird. You're speaking Japanese. I can't believe that you're speaking Japanese, and nobody here understands what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay, so please speak English." So, and my brothers and sisters were like, damn, I don't even understand what he's saying. What is he talking about? So it's like I'm the only person in our family who can speak Japanese.
That's so none your brothers or sisters didn't ever try to learn Japanese.
They never took to it. They never took to the culture or anything. The food, yeah, because my mom always had a pot of rice on the stove, regardless. We could have pizza, and she always made a pot of rice. And it was like, because we get hungry later. We go and we break an egg and on top of some hot rice, put some soy sauce in there. We got tamago gohan, so we got that going on. So we grew up with the Japanese food, but not so much the culture.
Okay, so I mean, but mainly you just wanted to kind of connect with your roots from your mom's side.
I wanted to connect with the roots, and also mainly just to learn the language. I wanted to be the only kid on my block who could speak Japanese.
Yeah, take that. Yeah, I know how that feels. They so I guess just to kind of get to know you a little bit better. So what are some of your hobbies? Japanese people always say, "What is shumi? What is your hobby?"
Yeah.
What do you like to tell them when they ask you that?
I tell them I don't have any hobbies, but I have a lot of interests.
Yeah.
One would probably be movies. I every Sunday night, because I work 7 days a week because I have my own school.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of jukensei, so it's like you can't say no. So that's why I work 7 days a week.
Yeah.
So I have a lot of private classes on Sunday. So after my Sunday class, I finish at 8. I come home, I have dinner, and then I go straight to the movie theater.
Oh, okay.
And I'm there every Sunday night, man. I watch a movie every Sunday, regardless. I don't care what it is. It could be an American, it can be a Japanese movie. It doesn't matter. I'm at the movie theater, and that's why I shut down. I go
Yeah.
in the movie theater, I switch off for the 2 hours that I'm there, and I'm ready to go Monday morning again. But interests. I'm not into the anime or the game thing. I'm into my son, my kids. It's like everything that he's interested, I'm interested in, and it's not always about me anymore. I get tired of me,
You,
so everything that I do.
yeah. Oh, sorry. I was gonna say you have one kid, right, Roman? Right.
I got one. I got two in the States.
Okay.
They're grown. They're grown from a previous marriage.
Okay.
So they're grown. We Roman and I, we go home to see them at least twice a year because although we're an ocean apart, I still want him to know his siblings, and I want them to know him. So, yeah, we're all a part of each other's lives. My ex is super friendly with Minako. They're very chill. They cook together. It's the weirdest thing ever, to see them both in the kitchen, But it's like.
It's nice though. It's good to have that kind of like weird kind of harmony,
Yeah. It just goes to show you that I wasn't an asshole,
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, like people will value your, like what is it? What is it? Like you don't judge a person by their words.
Connection, yeah.
Yeah, you don't judge a person by their words. You judge them by their actions, and so it's like, you see it, you believe it. Was your ex-wife Japanese by any chance?
Oh no, she was American.
Oh, okay. And just but I like your whole. Sorry to get back on the hobby thing though, but I like your whole like I just shut down for movies. Like sometimes I just don't want to be around somebody. Like I just want to like be quiet and just like let something else just flow and like entertain me.
Yep.
But you also
that's my son in that movie.
So like I know you're at least from your videos like you really you're really into raising your kid, and I mean, everyone should be. It's so funny. It's like, it's like Chris Rock went during that joke or whatever. He's like, "Oh, I'll raise my kid." He's like, "This is what you're supposed to do, you idiot." Yeah, but, I mean, you, I know you do like a lot of weight training though too, right? You do running and stuff, so that's awesome. And I noticed in the background you have like nothing but Bruce Lee pictures.
This is my man cave. Yep, I got the gym over there. I got everything else is just Bruce Lee. Because my son is into martial arts as well. He's really good too, and I just grew up loving Bruce Lee, and to have my son, have the same interest in Bruce Lee is. I mean, we just kick back and we just watch Enter the Dragon and Return of the Dragon just all day, and it's like it's just awesome that he has that same love for Bruce Lee that I do, and this is not only for me, man. It's for him as well, He comes in here and he's like, damn, Pops is cool.
Yeah, Bruce Lee's, I don't know, Bruce Lee's awesome. I mean, Jackie Chan's great for stunts and acrobatics, but the King, for fighting coordination and stuff, that was just, I love the whole Jeet Kune Do. Sorry guys, I know this is supposed to be a Japanese podcast, but I'm just want to geek out with Tino here for a second because like before the big belly happened, I was so into martial arts as a kid. And that's kind of one of the reasons why I came to. I mean, like kickboxing, karate, northern and southern Shaolin kung fu. I mean, like I love to try all these different martial arts, and Jeet Kune Do is like so interesting to me because it's like it's not necessarily like front punch, right punch. It's all about adapting your favorite things from other styles and making it your own. It's just like it's your own mix. That's why there's no like books on like you do a right punch, left punch for Jeet Kune Do. Yeah. It's the way of the intercepting fist. It's great.
Yeah, exactly. So you read the book, which is cool.
Yeah, I read that book so many times.
Good, though. A lot of people don't. They just watch the movies, but he's much more than that. And for me, growing up in the 60s and the 70s, man, to have an Asian, regardless if he was Chinese, or not, he's Asian, man. And it's like we had yellow people had somebody on the film. Who was 5'7" and just a ball of lightning, and it's like everything that came after him was because of him. Yeah, we got we got all of the other actors, the Japanese actors, and everyone else who followed after him. He opened the door for everybody else,
Yeah.
And it was just cool to have him back then, just to have Bruce Lee. And it was just everybody loved him regardless. And I just love Los Angeles back then in the 70s when he was there.
Yeah.
And he's always gonna have a special place in my heart because of that.
That's crazy. Yeah, I don't even like, it's not even a thought in my head. Like, as long as I've been alive, he's been dead, and like you've been here while he's been alive, and that's fucking nuts. That's so cool.
It is. It is. Oh man, I remember that. I remember the first commercial I saw for Enter the Dragon. It was like I was in my chonies, I was in my drawers, I was in my mother's bedroom, and it's on TV, and I was like, "What the?" And she said, "Don't worry, I'm gonna go take you to see this Friday."
That's
And those are
awesome.
the days when we had drive-in theaters, man.
Oh yeah.
And it's like a $5 pizzas. We used to go to Century Drive-In down the street, and we just lounge out and just watch Bruce Lee and all the Shaw Brother kung fu movies and stuff like that. Those were the days, man. It's like a lot of young people today, they don't know about those days, and it's sad.
Yeah, I mean that's like the oh man, I mean even yeah, I mean that's so cool. I didn't even know you were like such a kung fu buff. Like dude, like
Man.
Jackie Chan, Yao, Sammo Hung,
Yeah.
Yuan Biao, Bolo Young.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
heck yeah.
Dude. We
But
got
all
some
those all
yeah.
those dudes really, really good. Jackie Chan, he also put a name out there, but
Yeah.
like I said, if it weren't for Bruce Lee, it's
Yeah,
like
there's
nah.
only one Bruce, There's only
Yep.
one Bruce. That's
Yep.
even his son Brandon before the whole accident, like he was an amazing actor.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah. He was pretty good too.
did you know that Bruce Lee was actually one quarter German? Did you know
I
his
had
mom was half German? Yeah,
I did not know that.
that's crazy. I don't
Wow.
know. I learned that just like a year or two ago. I was like, huh, that kind of
Huh.
makes sense. Yeah, he's got a really strong, strong
Yeah,
jawline. Yeah, but
yeah.
no. I mean, that is sad though. That there's some things that like that's the one thing that I'm kind of geeking out when I talk to people that are older than me, because it's like I'm starting now that I'm getting older. I'm starting to realize that stuff that I really liked is slowly fading away. Like in Roppongi, for instance, in Tokyo, like 10 years ago, you'd see people like Israeli people selling like jewelry and stuff on the streets, and now that's totally gone. There used to be like people that, beer vending machines, like those are gone too. It's just people shining shoes outside Conda Station. Those people are gone. People playing music in front of Yoyogi Park. Those are completely gone too. And it's just like,
Wow.
yeah, it just seems like the world started like it's just closing, getting a little bit more closer and just, or not closer, but it's just getting more strict and conservative, and
Yeah.
it sucks because like one of the best things about being like anywhere is kind of the ghetto-ness, the realness of it, even Akihabara.
And everybody
yeah.
and everybody being interested in what you're doing.
Yeah.
And not bothering anybody. If you're playing music out there, that's cool. I like that sound, but now it's like that's offensive, or it's too loud, or it's making my baby cry, or something like that. So you can't do it anymore.
It just it takes one person to ruin a party, and then that
Oh, yeah.
person has Twitter. It's like that's the bad
Yeah.
thing about smartphones, is that everyone has an opinion now, and oh man.
And
But-
like I said, man, when I first came out to Japan,
Yeah.
there was no social media.
Must have
And
been
those
heaven.
were the days, man. Those were the days.
Oh,
Those were the days.
you yeah, I'm curious, like with smartphones, like how do you do you think having smartphones is overall necessarily a good thing, or do you think that it's kind of like dampened like social relationships with people? Like when I go and eat with somebody, if they take out their smartphone, I'm like, put it down on the table, and if you look at it, you got to buy me this dinner because you're supposed to be here. Even if you're bored and you don't have anything to say, you sit down. No fucking looking at your phone. So
That's a good rule. I think
Yeah.
all of my technology is basically used for work or when I'm working.
yeah,
It's convenient because I can contact parents whenever I need to.
okay.
I can stay in contact. This is probably the biggest thing for me. I can stay in contact with my people back home in SoCal because of Facebook and Instagram. And I remember the days when I had to fucking walk down to the NTT building just to make an international call and have these telephone cards that I have to use, and I'd go there in the middle of the night and I'd have to walk up the street and go to the NTT building because they were the only ones who had the international phone. And I reminisce about those days, and it's like the convenience is good.
Yeah.
But for me to wake up in the morning early when it's still dark and walk down there and to make that telephone call and be so excited about talking to people back home, I kind of miss that because now it's like, I can see what everybody's doing.
Yeah,
But
Google
back
Earth,
then,
Skype, yeah.
yeah, but back then it wasn't like that. We didn't have that. Oh man, I couldn't wait to get on the phone with people. And that walk, it was far, but it seemed farther than it actually was.
It
And I
was
couldn't get there fast enough.
Oh man, there's a guy who's he's French, but he's been here 25 years. That his daughter. I teach his daughter, and he told me that when he was here originally, he had a Canadian friend because French people, French, whatever. But he would have a Canadian friend, and like the French guy spoke English, so he's like, he would have a Canadian friend have a box of VHS recorded, not bought, but recorded like 20 VHS tapes recorded like with 6 hours each on them of just American TV, and his friend would ship them over from Canada to here, and then like he would watch them and then like share them with people in the foreign community so they could get their Friends fix or their Party of Five or whatever.
I did that too. I
Yeah.
did that too.
Yeah, you did that?
Was a big one. Friends was a big one.
Oh man, I can't
Sanford
believe
and
that.
Son. Send me the old reruns of Sanford and Son, and it's like yeah. Those were lifesavers, man.
Yeah, I
Because
bet,
you can go to the
right?
video stores here and they don't have them like they do today.
They didn't
You
have
go to
any
the
foreign
videos.
stuff.
Oh no, they had the foreign movies, but they didn't have the dramas. They didn't have the
Oh,
sitcoms.
they didn't have
They
like
didn't
TV
anything.
shows at
Now
all.
you can go and get Friends. Now you can go and get this and that.
Yeah, right.
Whole
Yeah.
season 1, season 2 of this and that. But back then, man, no. We had to be sent those VHS videotapes with 6 or 8 hours of stuff on them, and we cherished them.
Yeah,
Oh,
I could only
hey,
imagine, right? Like,
oh man, we polished them and kept them somewhere where it wasn't damp, so they couldn't, get all musty and stuff like that. And it's like, those were, oh man, he's telling some truth right there. It was
yeah,
the same way with all of us,
there's yeah.
back here back then.
Like, did you have anybody else? Like, did they ship you anything else from like America besides like VHS tapes? I can't believe it's people take. It's not that they take for granted. It's just they don't know the inconveniences of like people that came before them, and the hardships. They don't know the struggle.
With me, Sam, it was like, I hated asking people, even family members. I hated to ask people to do stuff for me.
Yeah.
And something menial like that, just to send videotapes. I just hated people to do that for me. I just tell them to dub some videos or just record some stuff, and when I get there, I'll just bring it back with me. I was ever since I stepped foot here, it was very important for me to get back home as frequently as possible. Because I still have family back there. So I was back there 2-3 times. It's been constant ever since the whole 26 years I've been here. I've been back home. I've been going back home 2-3 times a year, and that's constant.
Crazy, man. That's costly. Yeah.
I've never no, but see, that's why I grind, man. That's why I grind because it's like I don't have weekends. I tell everybody all the time. I don't have weekends. I work 7 days a week. But when I get that 1 week, I'm on a plane back home because I got to see family. I got to see my family. And then it was trippy because it's like California rice is the Japanese rice, but it's cheaper back there,
Yeah.
and it's much cheaper than it is here. Japanese rice is just so expensive. But now I'm at a point in my life where I don't have to look at the price anymore. I don't have to look at how much rice costs anymore. I just buy the stuff here. But I used to bring rice back with me. I used to go back to LA and bring cans of menudo. I would bring back tortillas and I would bring back rice. I would bring back a big bag of rice
to
I
Japan.
would bring rice to Japan because it was half the price. It was half the price.
Wow, that's I mean, like, what did I bring back last time? I brought back everything bagels with light garlic herb cream cheese and like fruity pebbles and stuff. Like, I don't know, just like comfort foods from home that they don't have here. But I mean, I have friends on the army base now, but
Yeah.
I don't want. I only get to see them on occasion, or the Navy base. Sorry for my military
But
friends
you know
for
what?
listening to this. Yeah.
I've been here for so long that my system has become so used to Japanese food, I can't eat the way I used to eat before.
Oh yeah, I agree. No,
So that's why I don't bring a lot of food back. I'll bring spices.
Well, no, I
Um,
mean, yeah,
that-
condiments or whatever. I bring
yeah.
tabasco.
Uh,
I don't know how to
uh,
say that.
but they
Yeah,
don't have tapatio sauce here, so
tapatio. Yeah,
I have to bring tapatio sauce back from LA because they don't sell it here. I don't care where you go, you can't find it here.
yeah.
But it's just it's just simple stuff like that. But the reason the main thing that I bring back from home, probably clothes, because I just can't fit a lot of the clothes that they have at the clothing shops here. Shoes, and especially a lot of gear for Roman. A lot of the stuff that they have for kids or junior kids here. It's just not fashionable. I guess I don't know. I just doesn't look really good. He feels better buying stuff back home.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I mean, hey, like your kid, I hadn't watched your video for like a year or two, and he had a huge growth spurt from what I saw.
Yeah.
Like, damn,
He's
that boy
getting
grew.
big, man.
He grew. Yeah,
He's
so
getting
yeah, I
getting
don't
big.
think he'd want to have those Japanese Uniqlo things. He wants
No,
some
no.
tall fitting American clothes,
Yeah.
maybe. Yes.
So that's basically what we bring back, man. We bring back a lot of DVDs. Those are always going to be my favorites because stuff comes out kind of slow, right?
Yeah.
So I'll get movies that are out here in the movie theater on DVD back home. So, but that type of stuff. But the food, it doesn't. No. I'm basically 95%. My whole diet consists of Japanese food.
Okay, and we're gonna actually get into that. That's a question later on,
Okay.
but that's good. But anyway, guys, so yeah, this is a little bit longer usually than it is before. But like I had to ask Tino some questions. I wanted to know stuff be non-Japan related, and he's an interesting guy. You guys will see at the end of this. He'll plug all of his stuff. But for right now, let's get a little bit into the prefecture, and he's got some awesome stories about his prefecture. But let's have him tell us a little bit about Kumamoto Prefecture here in Kyushu. So, so you already said how you ended up in the job in prefecture there. Wait, your mom was in Kagoshima. How did you end up in Kumamoto?
Well, I was in a very small town. It's called Kanoya. A very small town. You don't have many opportunities to really expand there.
Yeah.
I really never thought about opening my own business until after I came to Kumamoto. But I started sending out resumes to other prefectures. I want to see more of Japan.
Yeah.
But I don't want to go up north of central Japan because Tokyo is just too much like New York or LA for me. It's too metropolitan, if you want to call it that. But
Yeah.
I enjoy living in the countryside because that's what, for me, in my mind, that's what Japan looks like. That's what Japanese people are like.
Yeah.
And so I sent my resume out to different prefectures, different language schools, and the Y they picked me up in Kumamoto, and they asked me to come down for an interview or come up for an interview, and I did that. And like I said, I got hired the same day.
Okay. Wow.
So that's what brought me to Kumamoto.
Okay. Was that job?
What kept me here? Oh man, the life here. You know that we have probably the cleanest water in any other prefecture in Japan.
Is that so?
Yeah, because our water it's natural spring water. It comes up from the ground,
Okay.
and so our water is just clean. It's so good, man, and just the scenery. It's just such a beautiful place. We got Mount Aso that's up the way there. We got the beaches, the beautiful beaches. You go to an hour and a half, 90 minutes down south. Southwest. You can hit the beaches. We're right in the middle of Kyushu, so we got Oita up to the northeast of us. We got Fukuoka. We got Nagasaki up to the west of us. To the east, we got Miyazaki. Down south, we got Kagoshima. We're right in the middle. So this is like Kyushu's Silicon Valley.
Okay.
Because this is where we have a lot of the tech companies as well. We got Mitsubishi. We got a lot of the motor vehicle makers. We got Honda. We got Mitsubishi. We got Tokyo Electron. We got all these tech companies. We got Sony.
Yeah.
And so it's like I said, man, it's like Kyushu's Silicon Valley right here. That's where we are. But not only that, but like I said, man, I was a big fan of samurai movies when I was growing up.
Yeah.
And I am freaking, I shit you not, I'm 20 minutes away from the gravesite of none other than Miyamoto Musashi. Check that out.
That's in Kumamoto.
That's in Kumamoto.
That's awesome. You guys, well, I know who Miyamoto Musashi is because, come on, everybody in Japan needs to know.
Everybody knows. And if
Everyone
you don't
should know.
you need to kick yourself.
Yeah, if you don't know, then I think we're gonna have to revoke your visa. I'm sorry, guys.
Exactly.
Only
But
the
yeah,
cool people know.
we're if you ever come down, man, I got to take you up there. But it was damaged. A lot of it was damaged because of the earthquake that we had last year.
What do you mean? Like, how damn it? Like, the grave
Well,
site was.
the grave site, there was a big stone that toppled over. There were some Butsudan and some other statues that were around it. Those crumbled, and the path leading up to it was kind of messed up as well. But I was able to walk up there. It was kind of sad to see all that. There was a lot of it was taped off because it was kind of dangerous.
Okay.
But it's still there, and I'm pretty sure that people are going to get that back up again. And that's one of the joys of living here. And the town that he is buried in is called Musashi. Exactly. Of course. Of course. Of course. No, 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 no. That's Musashi Gaoka. That's the name of the one and only. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So
Because
that's.
he spent his last years with the Lord of Kumamoto Castle there, and there's a cave in Tatsuda Yamada, which is not too far away from our house. It's about 45-minute drive. You have to hike up there, and there's a cave where he spent a lot of time creating butsudan for the people that he killed.
Wow. Yeah. Because for all of you guys who don't know who Miyamoto Musashi is, he's the one who created the book. I'm pretty sure it's called Five Rings or Seven
Yeah,
Rings.
exactly.
Yeah, Five Rings, and he was it's a very cryptic book. I'm not gonna lie. It's not like it's not like a straightforward self-help book where it's like do this to get that and then do this, and it's very kind of cryptic, but it's vague. But it's an interesting book. I downloaded the audiobook for it. I didn't really like the audiobook, but if you read it yourself, like actually read it, and it's a very short book. You can read it in like a sitting or two. But it's this guy, he's supposed to be like what do you call it? The guy who basically started the whole Bushido. Founded Bushido, the way of the samurai, the way of the warrior. He's got
But
anything.
there's a lot of his presence in that particular area. We have a Musashi Udon, which is a chain udon shop. Yeah.
Musashi Udon. That's awesome.
Yeah, and they have a gift shop that has a lot of gifts and trinkets and stuff for a lot of tourists. We get a lot of tourists from China and Korea.
Yeah.
And they come over and they like to visit that place, and everybody knows Miyamoto Musashi. He's world famous, so. But yeah, that's one of the cool things about living here.
Yeah. Sorry. I was gonna say, if you guys want to know more about Miyamoto Musashi, you should read the manga series called Vagabond. It's by the same guy who did Slam Dunk. So, sorry, but anyway, you're talking about more Miyamoto Musashi stuff.
Yeah, but that's just one of the reasons.
Yeah.
But our main delicacy here is basashi. You ever had it?
The raw horse meat sashimi or whatever.
Yes.
I love that. That is like, you would think that you don't want to eat raw red meat, but it's delicious, guys. I mean, I don't care if you want to save horses. It is. You put that. What they put ginger on it, right? It's
ginger and raw onions.
Yeah, and it's so good, guys.
It is.
It's amazing.
But it's for me. Four servings is my limit. I can't go past that. It still freaks me out that it's horse meat. But I kind of got tricked into eating it. When I first tried it, I thought it was really, really expensive maguro.
Yeah, right.
And
no
then,
one told me.
but the look of it, it just looks like maguro. I was like, damn, that looks pretty good. And I tried it. I'm like, no, this is red meat. And he says, excuse me, what is this? And they said, oh, that's basashi. I'm like, yeah, but what is it? Oh, that's horse meat. I feel like crying, dude. I was like, you got to tell somebody about that before you put it on the table. But you're here, you experiment. You know, you're here, you try everything, and you know, you can say that you've done it. And yeah, it's really good. But 4 pieces is my limit because oh, this is great. Oh, this is wonderful. But you know what? This is horse meat. Okay, I'm done.
Nah.
You know,
Yeah, you gotta have a limit, I
I'm
guess.
not really, really a big fan of exotic meat. But when I was back in LA, man, I did. Have you ever had bison?
You mean like buffalo?
Buffalo
Buffalo
burgers,
burgers.
man.
Yeah, in Colorado when I was there,
Okay.
you could eat bison. Yeah, buffalo burgers. They're really it's really good meat.
It's really lean,
Yeah,
man.
it's really
It
lean.
is.
It's really good. The flavor's awesome.
Yeah,
Um,
and my daughter took me to this place. It's called The Counter up in Studio City,
yeah.
and uh, and it's like, oh man, I couldn't believe how good this meat. It's a bit pricey, but you know it's worth it. It's worth it because it's really lean. It's wonderful meat. But the bison, I probably wouldn't have tried that if I had not experienced basashi.
Okay. Yeah, so that's yeah, I mean like, the whole thing is always trying um all different kinds of food, and that's the thing. That was actually one of the next questions is so what is special food from Kumamoto?
Basashi
Because
is one.
yeah.
Karashi renkon is another.
What
You know
is
what renkon is? Renkon is
Rincon is the whole
lotus root.
okay, yeah, it's like
That's
daikon
what
but
they
it looks
call it.
like
Yeah.
holes and it's a little
Yeah.
crunchy texture. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that stuff. It's really good. But down here, what they do is they put karashi, which is the Japanese mustard, inside of it
Okay.
in the hole,
Okay.
and they batter it with some type of um what is that an egg type of a batter, and they deep fry it like tempura.
Okay.
And for me, I just like the renkong and the karashi, but the whole tempura thing is it kind of turns me off. It's not kind of ruins it for me.
Yeah,
But
okay.
that's also a famous delicacy from down here.
Mm.
A variety of different sweets that we have down here. Um, Sweet potatoes,
Okay. Yeah.
sweet potato pies, and sweet potato chips. You know, a lot of things that are made from sweet potatoes is pretty famous down here as well. But I would have to say the two biggest are probably basashi and karashi denko.
Okay, yeah, because what is it? Every place always has their what is it? No, every place always has their like
Their own
speciality,
delicacy.
their own
Yeah.
delicacy. But some places they don't know. Like for example, I was living in Chiba, and they always advertise peanuts and sweet potatoes from Chiba. But the thing is that Chiba has a really big microbrewery scene and a really big wine scene, but they never advertise that. So, is there anything like that in Kumamoto where you're like, this is pretty good? They should talk about this more.
No, not really.
Okay.
Other than the two that I just mentioned, no.
Okay. Okay. Well, what? So,
Everything else is probably from Oita or other prefectures. We get a lot of stuff from Fukuoka. The ramen, the tonkotsu ramen, the pork-based soup
yeah.
ramen. Okay, so we get a lot of that as well. So a lot of the foods come from other prefectures, but what is originally ours is basashi and also karashi renkon. Everything else is probably going to come from other prefectures that you can enjoy from here.
Okay. Okay. So what? So the question, I guess. Why does this keep refreshing? Uh. Um. So the question that I have for food wise, has your diet changed at all since you came to Japan versus now? Like, how much of your diet is Japanese food? Which you already had
95,
mentioned, 95.
95%, yeah.
Do you cook or is your wife cooking most of the time?
We both cook. It depends. If I come home and she's not home yet and I'm hungry, I'm going to cook for myself. But our diets are because we eat different stuff. You know, she'll cook for Roman and herself. But as for me, man, I have the boringest meals ever. Just people just don't think my food is interesting at all.
Yeah.
But because just tonight, what she does is because I come home at weird times sometimes, but
Yeah.
if I'm home when everybody's eating, I'll eat what they're eating. But I don't like to eat a lot of flavorful food. My stuff is really boring, man. I'm talking about like boiled chicken on top of a bed of rice. Nobody, something fried, stir-fried vegetables with no seasoning whatsoever. And I'll throw throw some chicken breast on top of that and eat that. And it's like, I mean,
Okay.
I have nothing interesting about the food that I eat. I mean, shiosaba is one of my favorites. She'll cook it. She'll just leave it on the stove, and I'll do everything else. Or she'll make a big pot of butajiru, and I'll just eat that for 2 days straight. But
Okay.
I am like the easiest person to cook for. I am not finicky whatsoever, because it's like I don't I don't eat like I used to when I was younger. When I was younger, man, I ate for the love of food. But
Yeah.
now I just eat to sustain my energy,
Yeah,
and
you
that's
eat
it.
you eat to live versus live to
That's it.
eat.
Yeah, exactly. But when I was younger, man, I used to do the pastrami sandwiches and the cheeseburgers and things like that. But I save that kind of stuff for when I go home to LA. You know, I'll eat the
Yeah.
tamales and I'll eat the Mexican food. I'll eat the pizzas and stuff like that. But when I'm here, man, no, no, no. Simplicity is best because it's like, I enjoy going to the doctor and looking at him and say, "Damn, you're 51, dude." And it's like, your your numbers you're not supposed to be where you're at right now. I'm like,
Oh man,
thank you, but
that is, I don't know, oh man, I love that's hilarious. I
but Roman, Roman is I gotta thank him for all of that because it's like I want to see him grow up.
Yeah,
I don't want to I don't want to fucking see him come visit me at a hospital with tubes coming out of my body. I
that
want to
being the
be here
old.
to see him live his life.
Yeah, you don't want to. You don't want to be growing up senile as far as you can help it, and be as
Exactly.
healthy as you can. Yeah, what is it? Hey, 50 is the new 40, right? I mean, come on.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I mean, I could be hit by a bus tomorrow. You never know. But
Yeah.
the simple fact that I'm living the life that I feel is better for me.
Mm.
And I got to tell you, man, Sam, I don't get sick. I haven't. I can't even remember when the last time I was sick. It was probably before he was born. I don't get sick.
That's
I don't get
awesome.
colds or anything because of the food that I live, the food that keeps me healthy, and the lifestyle that I have.
That's awesome, dude.
And you know what?
So
I have zero stress because it's like I freaking love what I do here.
yeah, right. That's important.
Yeah.
Like so many people get so stressed out, and it's like, I was talking to another guy. He's been here. I don't know. He was here for like 24 years or whatever. He was for the Hokkaido interview, and he was like, "Life's too short. You have a shitty job. Just fucking quit. It's just get it.
Yeah.
You'll find another job. It's like you're doing something that you're not happy with. Just change it. Life. You only got one life. Change it up. I mean, I'm working like part time right now, and I'm trying to do YouTube full time, and
Mhm.
like it's tough. Like like what is it? I wake up at like 8 to do like private Japanese interviews for people who paid for this Patreon stuff, and
Mhm.
it's and then I still like at midnight I'm still up doing these podcasts, but it's fun. I'm building
Yeah.
something. People are gonna remember this shit hopefully later on. Go through anybody who comes to Japan. I wanted them to have like a positive kind of like real English perspective on every fucking prefecture that we got here. So
Yeah.
I mean, like, yeah, I agree. It's like, if you can work hard but still not stress yourself out, like if you feel like you're really doing something that you enjoy. And I think there's a famous rapper also from LA named Too Short, and he's got a great quote from one of his things. He says, you gotta, what he says, fit in where you, oh god damn it, I can't, fit in where you get in, or so. It's like
Yeah.
get in where you
It's fit
fit
in when
in.
you get in. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
fit in when you get in. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm just like, it's true. It's like, like you don't need to try to mold yourself to somebody else's thing. It's like if you got
Yeah.
something, embrace that, and just try. Don't worry about failing. Just try it.
And you know
So
what? It's like as long as you love what you're doing, if you look yourself in the mirror and say, I can't imagine doing anything else other than what I'm doing right now.
yeah,
And you wake up and you go to work and you do something that you love and you come home and the lights are on, your house is warm, you got people to say, "Okairi," and it's like, fuck, dude, it's like there's no other better feeling than that. It's like, and I have enough, man. I don't have a lot. I have enough. And enough is good, dude.
yeah,
Enough is
right.
good. I'm happy with what I have. I'm happy with the life that I have. And that first year when I first came out here, man, it just goes to show you're at where you're supposed to be.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? You're right exactly where you're supposed to be right now.
Yeah. Well, I'd like to be in a bigger house, but yeah, I'd
You'll
like
get
to.
there, dude. You'll
Yeah,
get there
right. No. But I'm
eventually. Yeah.
very happy. you know, like, what is it? I've been here for 10 years, and like, I'm completely. I don't know. Like, we learn. This always thing, like, you know, people like to be sarcastic about it or something, be like, "Oh, I'm older now," but like I've never seen becoming older as a bad thing at all. Like, you learn, even if you don't want to
Yeah.
learn, you're gonna learn from anything that happened that previous year, and you're gonna
Yeah.
remember it. Like, you know, even if you like possibly forget what happened one day or something, you go back there like a couple years later, you're gonna just, I don't know, deja vu it up. You're gonna remember.
Yeah.
And I think that well, especially men, our value increases as we get older. I think,
Yeah.
like, you know, we're more knowledgeable, we're smarter with money. You
Yeah.
know, we have more experiences, we have better stories to tell. I mean, like,
Yeah.
you know, and getting older is not. It doesn't need to be a bad thing.
It's as long as you do it gracefully,
Yeah,
there's
right.
nothing wrong with it, right?
Yeah,
That's
don't.
right.
Yeah, you gotta be graceful about it. I gotta
Yep.
work on that part. Kind of back to the topic of the prefectures. Okay, you already mentioned a lot of cool places. Are there any other places that you mentioned that are like that really stick out in your mind when it comes to Kumamoto? That
Mount Aso.
Mount Asshole. That sounds like Mount Asshole. Is that on purpose?
No, it's Aso. It's not
Asshole.
asshole. I mean,
Asshole.
Aso.
Sorry.
It's
Okay.
asshole. It's not
Sorry.
asshole. No, but it's Mount Aso. Man. It's probably the most beautiful place here in Komodo. I mean, it's just like, oh man, it's majestic, really. It's you got the rolling hills, you got the active volcano, you got the onsens, you got
Mm,
the long stretching roads that just go on for fucking miles,
yeah.
and the clean air, and you got all this, just everything, and the people,
Mm,
dude, the people, oh,
they're awesome. Well, I'm gonna.
it's like you go back in time, you know.
Yeah,
You go
and
into also it takes you back 100 years, dude.
Mount
And
Aso.
it's like you walk down the street and it's like everybody just says hello. You don't get that anymore, you know?
Mm, I do agree. In Tokyo, they're well. I mean, in Chiba, they were kind of cold too. But at least when you met somebody, I always tell. I try to explain to new people on that, like, when they're like Tokyo people are kind of mean or they're a little selfish or they're cold. I just think of it as when I went to Chiba or when you're outside Tokyo, people have like a invisible mental barrier.
Mhm.
If you once you break through that mental barrier, they're real with you. You know, they're not holding back anything. But in Tokyo, people have like 5 layers of that invisible
Mhm.
barrier, just because everyone's busy, everyone needs to get somewhere, and like, you know, they don't think about like, what is it? It's just you know, I mean, they're not really like you. But once you break through it just means that in Tokyo, they're people. Everywhere you go, people are people. But you just gotta
Yeah.
smash through that barrier. And in Tokyo, it's a little you have to put in more work, but
Yeah.
it's nicer once you finally get to see the real person. But yeah, in Chiba or places outside Tokyo, I think it's only just one layer of like hi, and then it's like, oh yeah, we're real now, we're cool. Um, but okay, but I mean, like, nature. Are there any cool things in like Kumamoto City or any of the cities there that like you would recommend for people to go and check out that are like,
Well,
uh,
we just got a professional basketball team, which is cool.
okay,
They play games a couple times a month. That would be interesting. Kumamoto Castle is pretty much closed off. You can go on the outside of it and walk around that, but you can't really go inside it because it got really messed up, because of the earthquake.
yeah,
They're saying that it's going to take like 30 years for them to rebuild it back, but it's like, and check this out, something really cool about that castle. The parts that just crumbled were
yeah.
the parts that they rebuilt after World War II. But the original structure, the original parts that were made that were built by those people way back then, they stayed right where they were. And it's like, that is just freaking amazing how craftsmanship,
Was it more by
changed.
luck or just because it was awesome
No, it wasn't. It
craftsmanship?
was no, it was just awesome craftsmanship, man. It was just, the people who rebuilt or refurbished Kumamoto Castle little by little over the years. I mean, it was just, it's like put some paint on it and this and that, but it wasn't built to withstand a 7.0 earthquake that hit us last year. But it was pretty cool to learn that. We
Yeah.
went up, we went up there. It was pretty somber. It's pretty sad just looking at it. We cried. My whole family cried, dude. Just looking at all the destruction is because it's like we'll never be able to see it the way it was. But we can at least we can say that we've seen it, and we were there, and we spent a lot of time. I took Roman up there more than a dozen times, but it's one of the biggest reminders of the earthquake. But you still see a lot of destruction that's still there. A lot of houses haven't been rebuilt or fixed.
Yeah, I think this could be a good question, like, guys, because there's, I mean, for some of the other prefectures, there wasn't any big, aside from Fukushima and Miyagi prefecture, there wasn't really any big recent within the last 10 years kind of issue or big news. But recently, last year, Kumamoto had one of the biggest earthquakes as of 2011, and not a lot of people died, right? But there was a lot of damage.
No,
to the
it was
city.
it was under 100 people, under 100. We didn't lose more than maybe 70 or something like that.
But the city was it's got like millions of dollars in damage that needs
Not only the city, it's just the towns on the outskirts of the city. Our town got hit really hard. We had to put we had to put a lot of money into the repairs for our house as well. We finally got it all fixed over the summer vacation. I wanted to wait. I told Minako, the ground is still moving though. We're still shaking. We're getting tremors all the time. As a matter of fact, we got one on New Year's Day. A 3 and a couple after that, but Mother Nature is just letting us know that it's not done. It's not done. But I told Minako, I said, we need to wait on fixing the house for at least a year, I guess, because it's like the ground is still shaking. She's like, no. I want to get this out of the way right now. There wasn't a wall in our house that didn't have a crack in it. Our staircase was just shifted and it bounced back into place. It was a wall that was hanging over into the neighbor's yard, and it was really bad. There was a lot of damage that was done. I don't think I met anyone who wasn't affected by, and that's what brought us together though. We all had that same story, and it was a greeting. It was weird. It was kind of dark for a while there, but it was like, 大丈夫? 大丈夫だった?
大丈夫だった?
Yeah, どうだった?
Yeah, how are you? How is your house?
Yeah, and it's like, and everybody had that in common, and that's what made us one.
Can you tell us a little bit about what happened that day? You were here that day when that happened?
Oh man, I was here. We got hit by 2. We got hit. It was a Friday evening when we got hit with the first one. Was like a 6, and I was at school. No, that was a Thursday night. And I was at school. It was a little bit after 9 p.m. I think it was, and it was about 9:30, and I was in class as a matter of fact, and the whole classroom just starts shaking, and I grabbed the student. We dove under the table.
Yeah, and
it shook for a very long time, and I'm just watching all kinds of stuff to fall over the place. And it's like we went outside. We went outside, and there were some areas that were blacked out, and we were hearing sirens going all over the place and dogs howling, and it was like, damn, what the hell was that? And then so my student's mother came, picked her up, and we made sure that everything was all right. I stayed after school and made sure I cleaned up everything. I came home. There were a couple of cracks in the wall. I cleaned up everything there. I got to sleep at maybe like 4 o'clock in the morning. Yeah. The next day was Friday. Went to school as usual. Everything was okay. Went home. That night, it was a Saturday morning. It's about 1:30 in the morning. That was when the big one hit. And that was close to a 7.0. There was, they were saying 6.8, something like 6.5. Nah. That was a 7, dude. And it was weird because it was like, it just didn't bounce up and down. It went left and right as well. It felt like we were in a washing machine.
Yeah, like when the big earthquake happened here in Tokyo, like during that Tohoku thing, like it felt like I was a marble in a cardboard box and somebody was shaking it. Like, I couldn't get footing. It wasn't like, there wasn't a rhythm to it at all.
Yeah.
It was just like bop, 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 bop. It's like the popping machine you get for the little kids, the marbles. It was just like, what the hell's going on? Yeah, but I mean that happened at midnight or whatever at
It,
nighttime
it,
for
it
you guys.
happened at 1:30, close to 1:30 in the morning.
God damn.
Friday night, yeah,
Yeah,
and it's like we would
tiring.
sleep, and it's like, fortunately, Roman and Minako and I, we sleep in the same room, and we sleep on in futon in the tatami room that we have
Yeah.
downstairs, and so Roman is being between Minako and myself, and so I dive on top of them, and she's grabbing me, she's screaming,
Yeah.
and then Roman, he's knocked out, and the house is
He's
just
just tired.
shaking.
Yeah.
There's stuff just flying all over the place. I mean, the sound, dude. You never forget the sound.
Yeah.
It was just destruction. It was
Yeah.
just ultimate destruction. It was my house was being. It was just. You know what? This is it, dude. I'm dying right now.
Yeah.
You know, but they are gonna find me on top of my family in my chonies, and that's cool. They're gonna find me dead, covered on top of my family in my drawers,
Yep.
and that's all I could think about, to tell you the truth, because I was like, oh hell no, because everything was just crashing, dude. Everything's just falling,
You
and
didn't
it's
try to
like,
run outside or
oh
anything?
hell no. There was no running in that, dude.
Yeah.
Remember that cardboard box?
Yeah, right?
There's no running, dude. There's no running. I just held on to them and just had to pray for the best, and that's what we did. And then after the dust settled, we collected ourselves. Minako, Roman, and I, we went outside, and everybody came outside. The tiles from the houses that are around us, all over the place. The smell, I'll never forget the smell. It was just broken concrete, metal. It was the weirdest smell ever. You know, I can't describe it, but I'll never forget that smell. And it's like we're in the middle of the night. Thank goodness we're in spring,
Yeah.
so it's not winter. I'm like, dang, you know, we couldn't have picked a better season to have this type of this kind of disaster, because we're pretty chill out here. It's all right, you know, it's comfortable weather-wise. It's not, and the whole place was dark. There was no light. You just hear sirens, and then after that, um, we start getting calls from the States,
Yeah.
family saying, "Hey, is everybody okay?" All up and down Japan.
Yeah.
Messages. You guys all right? And I'm like, I don't know, dude. I don't know. We got no lights. We got no electricity. There's no gas. There's no water. Nothing. We got no utilities whatsoever. Everybody's outside, and it's like we slept in our cars. For we tried to sleep. Put it that way.
Yeah.
And the aftershocks, dude, they just kept coming. It was the weirdest thing ever. They just keep coming. We're getting threes and fours, and they're calling aftershocks. I'm like, damn, these are earthquakes, dude. And it's like we're bouncing around still, you know.
Yeah.
And it's the shingles, they're still falling off the neighbor's roof, and I'm still hearing that. And the house is just messed up. The house is messed up. There's cracks all over the asphalt. I make a small tent with some drinks and a table outside, and I tell Minako, don't even go into the house. She's in shock.
Yeah.
She's suffering from that post-traumatic stress disorder, and so she's in shock. But I call the housemakers, and I tell them, I said, hey, you guys come when you can, and they said, no, we'll be there later on today. So they came out by noon. By noon, we got electricity, we got water, and we got gas, so everything is cool. We're fortunate. A lot of people aren't.
Yeah.
And then so I get on my phone, and I'm telling everybody, hey, you guys need anything, you just let me know. My school, it was okay too. It was just trashed, but we got running water, we got gas. So I left the door open at the school. I called all my students. I told them, I said, hey, if you guys need anything, you need anything, go to the school, you come to my house. We got water, we gas. And that's what everything was doing. Everybody was doing the same thing. Everybody who had was offering everything and anything to people who didn't have. And that was the coolest thing. We
That's
couldn't
awesome.
leave. We couldn't leave, dude.
Yeah,
There were
right.
no flights going out. There were flights coming in, but no flight going out. The Kosoku, the highways were down. You couldn't use the roads. There were trees. There was debris. There was stuff all over. We were boxed in. We could not leave our town.
Well, they like I remember during not during, but seeing pictures of the Kobe earthquake and how it toppled over highways. Did that do that? Did that happen in
Oh
Kumamoto
yeah,
too?
oh yeah. The highways they waved, dude. They were all kind of cracks. Our highways
Were
was
they
just
toppled
destroyed.
over? I saw that they were
No,
like
no, no,
one was
no.
up, one was down, or something like that. Or
There were some areas. There was a bridge in Oslo that was totally just fell. They're never
okay,
going to be able to put that back up again. They're going to have to change locations or something else. But they'll never be able to put that bridge back up there again.
huh?
The,
Because yeah,
the
that's
Earth just gave way,
did
and there's nothing that they could put the bridge on anymore.
yeah. I'm curious for like when you said you're like everyone was helping everyone. That's awesome. Like like I mean that's one thing that I really respected about Japan after the like I mean I already respected Japan. I don't have to worry about getting shot here like or fucking getting stabbed like like but I mean like I really love Japan. And I really love just like living here and like but then like after the earthquake happens and then like everyone like you said like no one's looting, everyone's still going to the grocery store and being polite and like it's like I'm sorry miss, you can only buy one thing of bread because we don't know when we're getting the next thing, and it's like okay, no problem, not like fuck you and like taking all the
Yeah.
bread or whatever.
I was at Lawson,
Yeah,
convenience store around the corner,
yeah,
and we were lined up. They had no electricity, but they were doing everything by hand, calculator.
yeah.
We're standing in line, and there's this dude in front of me, and a hand reach away, there's an apple. There's this one lone apple, okay, sitting on the shelf,
Yeah.
and he's getting ready to grab the apple when this girl, little kid, she's like maybe 6 or 7, she's standing behind me, and she says, "Oh, watashi mo sono ringo tabetai." She's like, "I want to eat that apple too." And so the dude, he's like, and he refrains from getting an apple. He leaves it there. So it's my turn. I'm looking at the apple too. I'm like, damn, that apple looks good. She's still talking to the apple. I took the apple.
Yeah.
I grab it and I give it to her.
Okay.
And that was how everything was. That's what everything was. And I remember, dude. I remember I was walking around. Roman and I, we took bike rides daily just to assess the neighborhood to see what's going on and just to say hi. And I proclaimed myself the ambassador of positivity at that particular time because I was just going around the neighborhood, making sure that everybody was okay. I was on social media. I was on Facebook, telling everybody that we are just as messed up as you guys are. But you know what? We're alive. Check that out.
Right.
We
right.
got shit all over the place. But you know what? We
We're
got
alive.
smiles on our faces because we are alive. And I remember this kid, it was a high school kid. He's running down the street, Sam.
Yeah.
He's running. You can tell he's on the soccer team, and he's running down the street as if he's got a game to play tomorrow.
Another thing. Yes.
That's how we're gonna survive this.
I really love how Japanese people. I mean, I don't want to talk shit about America, but Americans are like super. I mean, everyone in the world's fucking super emotional, but that's like the one thing that's so special about Japan. Like I told you the story before we recorded the last time we talked about how Tokyo Kuni, one of the earlier YouTubers, he talks about how he ran outside during the 2011 earthquake and everything's all shaking and everything, but then he goes outside and there's a sento next to his house and there's an old man cutting wood for the Japanese bathhouse and he's waiting for the shaking to finish, and then it stops and he's like and he just starts cutting the wood again. Like, he's like, I got it, like shit happened, but I mean I gotta cut this wood. And I really love that Japanese mentality of like, listen, shit's fucked up and there's nothing I can really do about it right now except just do what I was gonna do today. And then we just start to rebuild. Some people like to think that, I think with a lot of Japanese relationships, sometimes like people, they like to complain that Japanese people, like, they don't confront their problems, they just kind of wait for them to go away. But like sometimes, like especially with like relationships between guys and girls, that's one thing I've noticed here in Japan is like sometimes you just got to give her space and just like wait. Maybe she's just in a bad mood and you really got to just kind of let it wait out and like let her be angry and you just be the guy who's there and who's like, I'm here for you when you come back for being in your little temper tantrum. But I think that's awesome that in Japan too, it's like this shit's fucked up, but I mean the field's still okay and we have a game to play today. And I don't know, I really appreciate that factor when it comes to Japanese life here.
Yeah, but a couple of days after, I opened school up,
Yeah.
and I told everybody that, you know, if we're able to, come, you know, just to let the kids get out of the house, get away from, you know, whatever
Yeah.
they're doing. Just tell the kids we're not even going to study. We're going to play games. We can
Yep.
eat candy, and we can do stuff like that. And then when my first class came, dude, and it's like, I got this group of kindergarten kids,
Yeah.
and they come and they see me, and they're all huddled around me, and that's where they stayed the whole time. I got kids grabbing my pocket. I got kids grabbing my hand. Well, let's play a game. They're like, no, we're gonna stay right here.
They're just like, we want to hug Tino
And,
Sensei.
and dude, it's like I cried.
Yeah, they were
You know,
like,
I didn't let them see, I didn't
"Daijoubu
let them see it. But it wasn't like it wasn't like tears of sadness. It was just happiness. It's like I'm glad I'm here, because one girl, she looks up and she says, you didn't go back to America? I'm like, nah. I mean, I'm not going back to America. She said, but we're all messed up. Everybody's leaving. You didn't go back to your home? And I'm like, nah. You're here, you know, so I'm gonna be here too.
Right,
You know,
right. I hated that.
I'm here too. You know, you're here.
Yeah.
I have nowhere else to go. This is home for me. You know, this is my home. I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah, that was.
And it was like, and then she looks at me. She says, "Yokatta, Tino koku ni itte kurete yokatta." And I'm like, "Doko mo ikan yo."
Yeah.
I tell them, I'm not going anywhere. You know, I'm be right here. And it's like, oh, dude, that motivated me. That, you know, and that just fortified my decision to basically end up dying here, dude.
Yeah, and that's actually the last question of the podcast at some point. Whereas, but yeah, okay, guys, you got the spoiler for that part. But no, it's true, and we're gonna get into that too, because it's I mean, that is one thing that I really liked about, you know, that's one thing. That's the only thing I hated the most out of 2011, and it cost me a lot of friends here in Japan, because I immediately like kind of just blocked or shut out anybody who ran away from Japan after the earthquake, because I'm like, you're not invested here. You obviously are not invested here. You obviously don't have any strong ties here, because you didn't try to create any, or you didn't allow any into your life. And you know, you're gonna, and like you just gonna go to Korea, you're just gonna fly home or something, you're just gonna like go to Osaka. It's like, dude, the people who live here, they're here for the shit, man. And like, you being able to leave, that's basically saying, oh yeah, hey, I was here for the party, sorry, shit got a little real, I'm out of here. And it's like, dude, like, fuck you, man. And like, I gave so many people shit for that, and like, I lost a lot of friends, especially on Facebook, just for being like, you're fucking pussy, I don't want to know you. And it's like, you know, it's like, why are you being such a meanie, Sam? Like, it's not that big a deal. I'm like, it is. Everybody else here is in the shit.
Minako, she always says this to me. She says,
yeah,
you know, all your friends are under 10 years old. And I'm like, it's true. It's true. And it's better for me, because they're honest, man. They're real, you know. There's nothing phony about them. And I like it that way, you know.
Yeah, right. And it's just I think yeah, and so I love it how this is like, I usually have a format for these podcasts, but yeah, this is such a fun conversation. I'm kind of just flowing with it. No, it's good though.
Dude.
It's good.
Yeah,
it's good. Yeah.
It feels good.
I mean, the format's mostly there for anybody who's like kind of awkward in front of the camera, or like not really used to telling stories. So, you know, it's good to keep like pacing with that. But I mean, like, when you get caught up in a good conversation or a good story like that, I hate cutting it short like that.
Oh, yeah.
So, but
I feel you.
yeah, and but I mean, this is a good thing too. And I mean, like, guys, if you notice, like, a lot of the other people that I've interviewed who are like older than me, like, I want them to talk. Like, I want to hear their stories, because it's like, you know, they know the world that I like, that I don't know before I knew it, and like, you know, it's and also they got good stories to tell, and Tino's a really good storyteller as well.
Yeah, I could talk your ear off, man. I could talk your ear off. I could do this for hours.
But you could keep my attention though, and that's the most important thing. It's not like falling asleep. You actually got, you know, it's you got my attention. It's like I have the attention span of like a fucking flea, you know, like just like, well, you know, I have 5 computer screens at my house just because I'm always doing like 5 different things, and this is but now I'm like focused on this, and this is good because I want to hear it, and I love it how I have like kind of. It's like, this is like podcast number 17. Like, I don't want you guys to get the wrong impression that I have all these kind of superficial kind of questions or basic questions, but I mean, it's something to bounce off of. It's like a foundation that you can grow your conversation off of first.
And you need that. You need that.
Yeah, you need it. And but I wanted to so like let's get back a little bit into the format here because I want to ask.
Okay.
So I know that you're married and everything, but you do have single friends, and I want to ask like where do you go to make friends if you're a younger dude like me or whatever? Like I just moved to Kumamoto. Where can I go to meet friends? What if I'm a drinker? Where do I go? If I don't like to drink or don't like to party, where do I go? Do you have any suggestions?
Okay, well, the foreign community here is very tight knit. I mean, it's not that large, but it is large enough for you to meet a variety of different kind of people, right?
Yeah.
And everybody knows each other. You know, everybody knows everybody here. You can go to the local gaijin watering hole. You know, there are a couple in the city. And you can go there and meet people and get to know them, and they'll introduce you to other gaijin and stuff like that. But I don't like to really use that word gaijin so loosely because for me, there's a difference between gaijin and gaikokujin. If you're a foreigner and you're here and you're still comparing stuff, you're not gaijin material, dude. If you're here and if you're comparing life where you're from and where you are here, I used to do that. That's when I was gaikokujin. But when you're here, and what that is, man, it allows you to understand that being gaijin, being someone who's on the outside, means that you're always going to be that regardless. I mean, with your close-knit friends, I mean, the people who know you, they'll see you just as a Japanese person.
Yeah.
But people who meet you for the first time, they don't know you from a can of paint.
Well, I mean, to be
They
fair,
don't know you know.
Well, I mean,
nobody knows that I've been here for freaking 26 years, you know, when they meet me right off the bat.
Right,
but it's
right,
like,
yeah.
But it's like, for me to accept, to be able to accept how they see me or how they profile me or how they react to me, and I don't get offended. I don't get offended by that. I'm just like, well, you know, that's because I'm a gaijin, and that's why I'm always going to be that way. You know, when I was in elementary school, there was this song that the kids were singing. I don't know if you're familiar with it. It's Konishiki, he sings it, the former sumo wrestler. He sang it on NHK program a number of years ago, but they sing it in elementary schools quite often. It's called Minna chigatte minna ii.
No,
Everybody's different, but everybody's good, you know? And it's like when I heard that song, I'm listening to the lyrics of the song, I'm like, you know what? That's what it is to be gaijin. You know, everybody's different, but you know what? Everybody's good. It's all right to be the way you are. And that's what it is to be gaijin. So I don't really like to use that word so loosely. I don't call all foreigners gaijin. You know, for me, you got to earn the right to be a gaijin. But it's like if you're still comparing stuff, you're still talking shit about Japanese people, and you don't know. If you don't know the culture, if you don't know why they do things like that, trust me, you're not gaijin, you're gaikokujin, and you need to stay over there.
Yeah, well, it's like it's a mentality too. I mean,
it is the mentality for real. Yeah. But if you want to meet those type of people here, you know, they got clubs, and then also you can go on Facebook and you can just look up Kumamoto sites, and you'll find foreigners who have websites about the community here. And once you get in contact with one person, man, that's it. You're connected with everybody else.
Okay, well, what if where do I go? Because I'm gonna ask you this question, and I want you to give an answer because I want you to tell me how you met your wife, because I know you've said this in a video, but I want you to tell the viewers that because it's an awesome story. But I want to ask, okay, so like, what if I like to drink, or like I'm a social person, where should I go to meet people in Kumo, especially girls? Where can I go to meet girls? And if I'm not a drinker or whatever, where's a place where I can go to meet girls? Like if I, just like if I want to look for somebody to date, like what suggestion would you give to people like that?
I have to be honest with you, Sam. There was a time where I did go to those clubs, but they weren't really to look for girls. They were just there to because I just love to talk. I love to talk, man. I love to talk to people. And I love to dance as well. So there was this club, it was called Topaz. And it was a salsa club. You could go and you could dance, and there was a lot of Japanese people there who love to do salsa. And if you're a gaikokujin, it's not so difficult to find Japanese women who are going to be interested in you. I mean, It's really easy, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
And I swore to myself way down the line that I would never, ever, ever get into a relationship with anybody met at a club. It's not worth it, you know. And I wanted to find a Japanese girl who was not interested in English whatsoever.
Yep, I've had that rule since day one. I will not
Yeah.
date a girl who even wants to like message me on the phone in English. I'm like, nah, I don't want anyone to ever. It's not that I don't want people to use me, because like I think foreigners when they first come here, they do the same thing kind of to Japanese people. They'll ignore Japanese people who speak English. Like I did that because I wanted to absorb as much Japanese as possible. But at the same time,
I did it too.
yeah, I didn't want my relationships to ever be based on
Yeah.
language or because I'm a foreigner. I wanted it to be because I made them laugh or something, and that I don't know. I dated girls with complexes on purpose that didn't ever want to use English.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Oh
I mean,
man, I didn't go places to meet girls. I met girls. I talked to everybody.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter who it was. I dated scientists. I've dated dentists. I've dated cab drivers.
wow.
I met this. Yeah, I dated this one girl who was a cab driver. I mean,
That's
and
a
I
story.
met my wife. I met my wife in the lobby of a hospital.
Yeah, and can you tell us that story? Because I really like that story.
Well, I'll make it very short for you. But you know,
Okay.
I was there. You know, I played football for a social league here in Kumamoto. We don't have a social league anymore, but
Yeah.
we had a team here. But I used to play football. But I was at the hospital visiting a friend of mine, and as I was walking through the lobby, I see this girl on crutches, and she's trying to navigate herself through these people who are there, and she's got one bag in her right hand, which is full of maybe clothes, I guess, and the other one is like a convenience store bag, and she's got a cast on her ankle, and she's trying to get to the elevator. I'm like, damn, nobody's gonna help her, and she looks good too. I'm like, what's wrong with you fools, you know? And then so I said, well, you know, allow me. So I go up to her and I said, well, I'm going up to the 6th floor.
Yeah.
Help you to the elevator. So I grab her stuff, and then she says, thank you. I took her to the elevator. We go up. She's going up to the 6th floor as well. So we get stopped at like the 3rd or the 4th, and there's this old woman who gets on, and she gets on, and she's, Anna, sticking a couple of this and that. And she says, right? She says, oh, you guys, oh, what a cute couple, right?
Yeah.
And then so she starts talking and asking us questions about our relationship, and we just chime in and, you know, just follow along. And we're saying, yeah, we're in a relationship for like 6 months. Well, consider no, though. Yeah, we'll get married eventually one day, but nothing too soon. You know,
That's
so
some
we're,
good
we're just
anchoring.
we're just playing, you know, following along. We're just playing along, and then we get up to the floor. I see her to the room, and my friend he's in the lounge area there, and he said, "What are
Yeah.
you doing? You're supposed to come see me, and you're talking to girls." I'm like, no. She needed help with the room because she had all these bags and stuff. They said, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
So I visited him. I'm like, damn, you know, I can't get this girl out of my mind. So I go back to the hospital the following day, and I'm in the lobby hoping that she would come down, and that's what she would. She was in the lobby already, you know, reading a magazine. And then I didn't even go to see my friend. I stayed there and I talked to her for like 3 hours. And that just became an everyday thing, man. This just came an everything thing for me, and that's
Yeah.
you know, that's here we are, 13 years later.
Yeah.
And it's been a wonderful ride ever since, man. She's just a wonderful person, man. Like I said, she gets along with my kids, but she gets along with my ex, which is unusual for Japanese women because they're very jealous.
Yeah.
She's very chill about everything, man. It's like, dude, she compliments me. She makes me look better, you know? And it's like that's what you need in a relationship. You need someone who is going to be there for you, you know, with you, and who is a giver and not a taker.
Don't want to. Yeah, I've had past relationships where it was like 90. I always felt like it was 90% me giving and like 10% reciprocation, which,
Yeah.
you know, I think, you know, relationships, it's a 50-50 street, and you should, it's, you know, but I think, I mean, like, actually, that's a good question to ask you. I know that, again, it's not really Japan related. Well, it kind of is Japan related, but it's like, when you date women, is it that you need to kind of, not, I wouldn't say train, but I don't know what a better way, it's like, to kind of educate, not educate, it's like, sounds like a thing, but it's just basically like, when you're with women, you kind of like if it's a woman that doesn't look like, because you can't ever tell until like a couple months in the relationship if she reciprocates, you know, if she goes out of her way to make you happy like you do to her. But is that one thing that like you should expect from the get-go, from like the first week, or is it something where you have to really kind of feel it out? And if you really like that person, are you going to try to educate them or train them to return the favor, so to speak, or is it just like, no, you got to wait to find that person that automatically already has that as part of their being?
Okay, well, check this out, man. That has nothing to do. Your question has that type of girl that you're looking for. That has nothing to do with geography. It has nothing to do with where Japanese women or whatever. I mean, women are women wherever you go, and there are women who are going to try to make you happy because you make them happy.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? It's a mutual thing. It's a mutual thing. I'll give you an example. The first time when Minako started making my eggs, and I'm very, very particular about my eggs. You know, it's like I like them over easy, but it's like when you over easy, I'm talking like 3 seconds, and you put them on a plate after when you flip it over.
Okay.
And it's like that's a special gift right there, dude. And it's like only my mom and myself can do that. My eggs, man. I love my eggs.
Yeah.
So it's like Minako, she makes them Japanese style. It's like where she totally just fries the yolk. And the yolk is not runny. It's just gummy. And I'm like, well, you know what? This is well, I'm gonna make scrambled eggs with this, and I'm chopping it up. And she said, "Well, you're making scrambled eggs?" I'm like, "Yeah. This is how you make scrambled eggs with these type of eggs."
Yeah.
You know what? Let me make you breakfast. I'm gonna make you breakfast tomorrow, and I'm gonna make you eggs the way I make eggs, and see how you like them. Because this is how you make them. This is good, but let me make you eggs the way I like them.
Yeah.
And then so I made her eggs the way I like them. And then the next day she was like, you know what? Make those eggs again. I want to see how you did that. And that's how it's been ever since.
Okay, so.
And it's like I don't look for anything.
No.
She shows me the type of person she is, and she shows the love that she has for me, and in return, I do that for her as well. You know.
Yeah.
And so you don't train women, dude.
Well, no,
It's
I
like,
don't mean like, you know what I mean. It's just like
I
mean
don't
training
understand.
expectations. I mean, like you know, a marriage is just like a
and there
job or
should
career.
There should never ever be expectations, man.
No, I don't. I mean, like, okay, if you're sick, I don't expect you to make me some soup, but if you did, it would be nice because I would do that for you automatically. I mean that kind of expectation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not that I'm being nice to you because you're my wife or you're my girlfriend and I'm obligated to do that. It's because I care about you, and I even if you're not gonna eat that soup, I want you just to know that it's there and it wasn't like a big deal for me to make that. You know?
But in your mind, that's her caring for you. See, that's your definition of her caring for you in your mind. For her to make soup for you, and it's like you're anticipating that and you're expecting that, and then if she doesn't do it, it's like fuck, she's out.
I don't mean it like that. Well, okay, I don't mean like soup's the end all, you know, the be all end all. I mean, I'm just saying like, you know, career is supposed to be you go out of your way to make somebody who you care about like feel good, especially when they're not feeling good. That's what I mean, and it's just like. I don't want to be like sick and then have somebody just be like, well, fuck you, like whatever. I just came to like watch TV with you. I'm not gonna do anything.
That's not for me. I mean, for you. I mean, for you as well. That's probably not girlfriend material.
Yeah,
that's friend material. But that's not the keeper. That's not.
Yeah.
You know, I had an uncle way back when who used to tell me whenever you go, you know, this is how you know you get a keeper on the first date. Okay, when you open the door for the girl.
Yeah.
And you let her in, and she reaches over and opens yours for you.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And that's how you know you got to keep her. Because you treated her that way, and she said, and in her mind, she was like, you know what? Hey, let me do this for him as well.
Yeah. It's well, I mean, I think everything is kind of like, it's a give and take, but also it's like a partnership. It's like a career, like, you know, you want to grow together.
It's a partnership.
Yeah. It's like,
and it's not give and get, man. It's not give and take. It's give and get.
Give and get.
It's give and get.
Yeah. It's, I mean,
You know,
it's just a marriage is like a career or a business. I mean, it's something that if you don't work on it together, and you don't work through the hard times, you're never gonna get far. I think. I mean,
that's right.
yeah, and I don't
That's
know.
right.
Yeah,
And she I mean from day one, dude, she's always been a soldier for me. Always. She's always had my back. I don't care if anybody talks shit with, and don't talk shit about me in her presence. Don't do it. Because it's like, dude, she's Japanese, but I swear, man, she's got a lot of Latin in her, because it's
yeah,
like she can get violent in a minute. Don't talk shit about me in front of her because she will knock you down. Okay, so it's like she's down for me, and that's how I knew that we were cool without being married, because she knew that I was married before, and she was like, I'm busy doing me. I'm not really into the marriage thing, and I was like, cool. So that's how we had a relationship before we got married. And then all of a sudden, she goes to Australia with her friends, and that's what she went and did her thing. I did my thing, and then when
yeah,
we were with each other, we were with each other. And it's like she comes back from Australia. We're a couple of years into the relationship. She comes back from Australia, and she's like, you know what? I want to have a family. I want to start a family. Let's get married. And I'm like, you know what? If I were ever to do this again, it would have to be her. If I were to ever do this thing again, this long term, it would have to be somebody chill like who I'm with right now. And I said, okay, right there. She proposed to me, and I said, okay. And we did it. And it was like, and I asked her, I said, what kind of wedding do you want? You want this? You want that? And she's like, no, I'm not going to spend all that money on that wedding. What's wrong with you? She said, let's just go get the papers done. Let's take that money. Let's go to Thailand. I'm like, dude, let's do it. We
yeah,
had a dinner party. We didn't have no extravagant Cinderella type of wedding or anything like that. We took the pictures. We had a nice little dinner with our friends, with our close knit friends, and we took the money that they gave us for our happy wedding money,
yeah.
and we took a trip. We took a trip to Thailand.
That's awesome. How long was the trip for?
We were there for like 5 days.
Nice. That's awesome. Hell yeah, dude. I mean, I'm totally for that. I've
Are
never.
you there?
Yeah, I was telling Tino about this after, like, before our podcast, that like I have a friend, he's a really close friend named Andrew. He's been on my on a couple of my videos, and he's been here. He actually lived in Fukuoka first before he came to Tokyo, and it's just it's unfortunate that he's been here for 12 years. He speaks Japanese fluently. He's worked at a Japanese company this whole time. I've worked at Japanese companies too. And the thing is, it's just like I had different. I was more like a kind of a supreme acceptance. Like I didn't really have a lot of huge expectations, but my expectation. Well, I did have some, and it's like I'm gonna have to work overtime. I'm gonna have to take a lot of shit. But at the same time, I'm doing this more for the experience versus like money or like building myself up in a company. I just want to experience this stuff. But my buddy Andrew, he just can't take it anymore, and it makes me so sad. Like I didn't want to tell you. Well, I mean, it's not that I didn't want to tell you. I just didn't want to bring it up, like to just anybody. But I'm so angry that he's leaving because he's not like I told him. Just take a vacation from Japan, take a month or two, just get a refresh somewhere. Like put your Airbnb your house or something. Just take some time off, and like you don't need to quit everything. You don't need to get rid of all your stuff. And he's like, no, fuck it. Like I'm leaving Japan. Fuck this place. Fuck these people. No one. And like this is the same guy who told me. He was like, a week or two before he decided to do that, he's like, all my friends from college, man, or like, some of the people from the same Sakura or whatever from the club or whatever that I was in college that are in Tokyo, they had a reunion party and they didn't invite me. And I was like, have you bothered to keep track and say hello to these people and check in on them on occasion? No. Did you bother to fucking call any of them and to wish them a happy birthday? No. And I'm like, well, why the fuck do you think they give a shit about you, when you haven't even put anything towards that relationship? And that's like been his whole fucking existence here in Japan. And like I might not be better some part. Like I have friends come and go. I don't really talk to my friends in Chiba that much anymore. When I call them, it's like we just fucking talked yesterday, and but I mean the thing is, it's just like it hurts because like he's my friend. He stayed at my house before he moved back to Kyushu, and then when he came back from Kyushu to Tokyo, he stayed at my house, and then he moved to this area, and then I moved here to this area to hang out, to be close to him, and and now he's leaving again, and he's like, I want to hang out at your place. Let me stay at your place before I go to Hawaii. And I was like, I don't want to see you, man. And he's like, why? I was like, I don't. It's funny. I saw this, I think, in a Japanese movie or a Japanese anime or something, where it's like, aren't you going to come to the airport to say goodbye to me? And he's like, I'm not saying goodbye to you. I'm not going anywhere. He's like, no, you're just going to stay, and I'm going to see you again, but I'm not going to have the possibly last memory of you being me at an airport saying goodbye. Like, I don't want that. And it's like, I never understood. I was like, fucking just go to the airport with him, you piece of shit. Why do you, this is for him, not for you. But I'm like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. It's just, it hurts saying goodbye to my best friend, and like, even though it's supposed to be for him to like kind of a send off, I can't do it, man. It's just, I wanted, it's like, I'm here, I'm a lifer. And I've only been here for 10 years, but I would gladly die in Japan. And he's just like, I feel like it's a mentality, because I've had the exact opposite experience. I mean, I didn't like working at a Japanese company too much, but I mean, I didn't hate it. It wasn't bad. It was a learning experience. But it makes me sad when people who are obviously way better at Japanese than me stuck it out more in a Japanese company more than me. There's plenty of people that work in Japan that do not have a shitty existence, and unfortunately he's decided in his brain that that all these places, that he cannot have a happy existence in Japan, when it's the exact opposite. And it's like, the shit, you always bring shit, you bring the shit from one place to another. You never just leave it somewhere and it's all gonna be shit, like candy and rainbows in the next place. But I mean, that's what when you said that about I don't even count how many years it is. I mean, I don't feel like it's like 10 years, but like, I don't like saying that, because then they're like, oh, they either have an assumption that I know a lot of shit about Japan, or that I've barely been in Japan a long time enough. And I'm like, I just yeah, you know what I mean.
But this is I said attention.
Yeah.
To make sure that when they leave, they're gonna miss not being here.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
It's what is it? I think that it's a really important factor that I don't think a lot of people take in mind, when it's just like, it's so, it might be easy to become a teacher here, because it is, pretty much a rookie mill when it comes to all this different shit, like, especially when, like, coming in and training, and then, like, it's just a revolving door of teachers pretty much when it comes to companies like that. But they do serve a purpose, they do serve a function, they get you over here at least, and they give you that. But I mean, that was one thing that I don't think, like, that was always the hardest part, is like, you get hooked on these kids coming all the time, and then something like that happens. But having the freedom of your own school, where you're like, don't worry, pay me when you can, and just like affecting people's lives, even if it's just like, I remember when I was in Chiba, I mean, I don't really regret it because I didn't like her, but there was a teacher, I was stuck in one school for like 3 months, and it was Sawa Daiichi Chugako, and it was or Sawa Daiichi Chugako, Daiichi Chugako, and it was and like the woman's name was Nakamura, and she wasn't the nicest looking person, but also she was dealing with a lot of stress from home, and she'd bring it to work all the time, and she'd be like, you're not doing enough of this, I don't want them to call you Sam Sensei, you're a gaijin, you're Mr. Sam. And like, I take everything with a grain of salt, so I'm just laughing at her, because the principal and I are really good buddies, because he used to be an English teacher. But anyway, she tells me all of a sudden, like, one day she's like, my daughter has cancer, she might be dying. And I'm like, you've been a horrible person to me since I've been here, even before your daughter had cancer. Like, and I was like, I didn't say I don't care, like, I hope your daughter dies. I didn't say anything like that. I was just like, I don't, I was like, I don't understand, because it was the first time somebody had like reached out, because I had just gotten here, and somebody just reached out and they told me that, and I was like, I didn't mean to say, like, did you tell them? Or now I have the kind of like the social intelligence that I'm like, oh shit, this person's opening up to me. Maybe they were a dick for a reason up until now. Maybe this is a good reason to inquire. But back then I didn't have the social emotional intelligence to be like, oh really, like, you know, what happened, like tell me about it. But I'm so grateful that like I get experiences like that, and sometimes they come out of nowhere. I was at my ex-girlfriend, or one of the ex-girlfriends, we were at a wedding, and she was there with her old coworkers, and she doesn't, well, I mean, now she knows, but she didn't know at the time that I dated one of her old coworkers. And so but I, you know, we're sitting outside on a balcony, or outside in the patio, like after, you know, they're smoking, I'm just chilling, and she's like, you know, the coworker, she's like, you know, I had an abortion, like right over there. And I'm like, why the hell are you telling me this? I just like, I haven't seen you in like a couple of years, and like why you could have waited until I left. Why are you bringing that up? And like I told her that, I was like, nande ikinariなんかそういうlike俺の前でそのことは言うの? And she's like, yeah, 別に. I was like, well, there is no 別に. Like, why are you, like, she's like, oh, it's nothing, it's not a big deal. And I was like, I don't know, it's weird how when you're a foreigner you can just make people, I think it's just not, I don't know, I think it's, we have this kind of a special connection with people because where they kind of have, they feel more comfortable like just getting it out in the open, maybe because they don't think we'll judge them or something. But I don't know, it's so great. I always like respect, even if it's kind of awkward, like abortion right over there. I'm like, okay, oh, weird, but it's so, I don't know, I really appreciate when people open up and they tell me this stuff now, because I'm like, I know that they probably wouldn't be able to say that in front of their friends or coworkers as easily as they just spouted it out to me. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, you know, there's a mental hospital down the way.
Yeah.
And some of the therapists there, they recommend some of their patients go to Eikaiwa school.
Oh, really? Oh, really?
Yeah. For the simple benefit of being able to share their feelings with a foreigner.
Yeah.
Because they have this ability, this uncanny ability to listen.
Mm. Yeah.
And that's a common story right there.
That is it's interesting. I remember I made a joke when I was at when I was getting my motorcycle license. I was really angry because I went there to learn how to ride a motorcycle, and they gave me and we only had like 18 classes before we had the test, and I didn't think I was ready. And then they gave us a fucking 1 hour of just watching safety videos, which was just made from like 500 years ago. They're not even, and I'm so angry because I'm like, I'm paying for these lessons. I need to be more practical. I need to go out and practice. And they were like, this is part of the curriculum. You have to stay here. And I'm so angry. And I hate the little guy. You know, he wants me to kind of like talk respectfully to him because he's a teacher, but he's like 6 years younger than me. And I've been in Japan for a long time, like long enough to know, like, fuck you, you little shit. Like, what do you know about stuff? But he's so I'm already kind of snappy. And I'm there with two other guys, and he asks us, I guess it's a class participation thing. He's like, so why are you here? Have you ever lost your license before? And I was like, yeah, I lost my license, or my license been suspended 4 times. And he's like, you know, he's like, why? I was like, I ride a 50cc bike, and people, you know, cops like to pull me over, and I like to not follow the rules. But anyway, and then the other guy said like, oh, I went, he just said like, I don't have a license, so I want to get a motorcycle license first. And then the other guy's like, mine's expired. And I guess in Japan, if yours expires for a certain amount of time, then you have to just start from zero. You can't renew it. And and I was like, but that's only like after 5 years or so. So I told him, so I said to the guy, because I was in such a crappy mood, I didn't care because he was already kind of being weird and creepy, but I was like, so you went to jail? And the teacher's like, what? You can't say that. And I was like, no, he went to jail because he is not the worldly type. And he, you know, you got locked up somewhere and you couldn't renew your license because everybody needs a license in Japan. It's not that hard to renew it. And I was like, you went to fucking jail. And he's like, yeah, I kind of went to jail. And then afterwards we're smoking. And I was like, why did you go to jail? And he's like, I was like, and he's like, I don't want to really say. I was like, you look like somebody who does drugs maybe, but I was like, you probably killed someone. I can tell you killed someone. He's like, yeah, I killed someone. He's like, I used to be Chimpira, and I was in a gang, and we got into a fight, and it got out of control, and I bashed some kid's head in with a baseball bat. I was like, how many years you get for that? He's like, 8. And I was like, God damn, dude. And I'm like, wow, I was in a bad mood. I snapped at some dude who I guess kind of deserved it because he's a fucking murderer, but you know. And then all of a sudden it's just like I'm having smokes with this fucking guy who killed somebody at a motorcycle school. like stories, man. It's fucking nuts, dude. Like, I remember you had a story too where you saw like two people fighting in the street, like ran out of their car. You
That's
tried to
when I
help them.
first got here.
Yeah,
That's when I got here, man.
yeah. You tried to help them. They're like, "Get the fuck away from me! I'm trying to be."
Ah, I got dude. I'm choking him out because he's getting
Yeah,
ready to get this bat
yeah, yeah,
out of his trunk. I'm like, oh fuck that. No, before he gets the bat, I'm choking this dude out, and his girlfriend's pounding on the back of my head. And I'm like, what
yeah.
the hell?
Yeah, like what's going on here? Like,
I'm like, I'm trying to help you out. But the police were really cool though. You know, they took me aside and they said, well, look, you don't know. You don't know how it is. You know,
yeah,
you never get involved. I'm like, I saw nobody was getting involved. And that's why I got involved because he was about to kill this girl with his bat he's about to take out of the bag.
right,
And I'm
yeah,
like, and then they're like, well, you know, let us handle it. And you know, the police aren't really into preventive tactics here. They basically come after the fact. They're
yeah,
good at investigating. They found out who bashed the girl's head in, but they're not really there when it comes to stopping the dude from bashing her head in. So I was
yeah.
like, I thought I was helping out, but they said, look, you just got here, and obviously you seem like a good dude. You meant well, so we're not gonna cite you. Just give you a warning. And I was like, well, you should have warned me, let me know this two days ago.
Yeah,
I
right.
would have just kept walking, but it was just a weird scene. I mean, you would never ever see anything like that in L.A. Nothing like that in L.A. She would not be on the back of my neck, hitting me in the head like that girl was doing. But
Yeah, guys, just to give some context, Tino is driving his car, and then like in the middle of the road, like a car stops, and then this woman runs out of the road or something, and then her boyfriend comes up, and he just starts smacking her in front of everybody. No one's ever just casually driving around them, like, I didn't see that. Oh, what would he do? And Tino's like, what the fuck? Like, so he's just beating this chick, not even like on the side of the road, in the middle of the road, and then he goes out and tries to stop the guy from beating him, and then while he's choking the guy out, the dude's girlfriend comes over and starts hitting Tino, and it's just like, some people, when I first came to Japan, people were like, do not get involved with Japanese fights, or do not try to help people because you're always going to be used as the scapegoat, and the cops will always try to get you as the thing. But for me, I don't know. I mean, like, I usually didn't give a shit about that. I don't know. I mean, if somebody's gonna, like, they have cameras everywhere, and I mean, like, the fact of the matter is, it's like, if they want to, I don't know. I mean, that's one of the things that I've always kind of liked about having a big body is no one's. I mean, I might be fat, but like people are afraid of me, and I think that's a good and a bad thing. Like yesterday, I was talking on the phone on the train, and you know, you shouldn't talk on your phone on the train, but it's the going home, it's the Coyote train, you know, and everyone else is talking to their friends. It's like you know, it's a Friday or Thursday night or whatever. Everyone's already talking, but I'm the only one talking on my phone. And this guy's just stomping his foot on the ground, but like passive aggressively murmuring, being like, you know, tamare, you know, and I'm like, dude, there's like 20 other people talking, and I'm on the phone, and you're only angry at me. And I was like, and like, you know, I just start looking at him, and I'm just like, you know, I just talk louder and louder, and he's just like, I don't know. He's afraid he gets off the train, and you shouldn't talk on your phone on the train, but when there's the whole car is literally talking, I don't see the harm in it. But I mean, just I think my roommate too, there was some Chimpira. Chimpira are like wannabe gangsters guys on the train, and they were bumping into people, and my roommate's like a skinny little young white dude, and like basically they're kind of like bumping into people on purpose while they're walking through the train car. And my friend, or the roommate, he literally just stands up, and he kind of like stands his ground. And so when the guy tries to bump him and he bumps his shoulder, my roommate bumps him back, and the guy falls back. And the guy's with two other dudes, and I don't know, my roommate wants to, you know, fight him or whatever. And he told me, he's like, you know, the best thing to call Japanese people when you want to get in a fight with them, you say, shut up, Zainichi, or shut up, Chugoku-chan. Call him a different kind of Asian, and that'll piss off Japanese people the most. And, you know, the cops got involved, but the cops were oppositely. They were trying to get the Chimpira away from him because he's just this American that doesn't speak Japanese that well. But, I don't know, it's funny, the confrontations. People say don't, you know, try not to be confrontational with anybody here, especially when it comes to fights, but I don't know anybody in my experiences I could think of off the top of my head that had that kind of like negative cop experience, like, oh yeah, like there he is, let's beat him and sprinkle some crack on him later. I don't think I've met anyone.
I've never seen
Yeah.
anything like that. I've had nothing but good experience with with police, and I could probably count them on one hand. But I've never had a situation where they treated me disrespectfully. As a matter of fact, one time they stopped me because they said there were a lot of crimes being committed by people who have Amisha or foreign cars, and I used to drive a Jeep before the my FJ, but dude, one dude was talking to me about just superficial things, and then the other dude was going through my car, and he found a coin purse that I couldn't find forever, and he said this was under your car seat. And I was like, for real, I was looking for months for that, I couldn't find it. Thank you so much. So I left away with a coin purse that I couldn't find for a couple of months. So I was happy he went through the car.
Yeah, I remember when I was in living in one part of Tokyo, there was a cop that spoke English there, and he had spent time in Canada, and then he came back and became a cop. And it's funny when I had when my license got when I went back to get my license, because you have to turn it in. You're a good guy, Tino, so you probably never had your license suspended. But
No.
when you lose your license here in Japan, it isn't like it's automatically out of the system for that time. You have to go and turn in your physical license because the digital system here sucks so bad that if they pulled you over, they probably have no record of you losing your points. So you have to physically give away your license. And so I went there, and the guy I was curious about the international license or international permits because I was traveling that year. And of course, the guy who's there, I see is the old cop from the place I used to live in. I'm like, and he's like, you used to live in a Guisadine, didn't you? I was like, you're the dude from Canada. And he's like, yeah. I was like, what are you doing here? He's like, international licenses. I was like, oh shit, dude. Like, oh yeah, yeah, it makes sense. English cop, yeah, this place. And I was like, but you're a desk jockey now. What's the matter with you? You couldn't fight enough crime on the streets? He's like, I don't know. They need people who spoke English. Blah. Now I'm a car guy. But I don't know. It's fun seeing like. It's fun. Life is interesting here. Life is interesting anywhere, but it's just fun when you have those little instances where it's just like, huh, that happened. This happened before, but now this is happening. I don't know. It's very interesting. But guys, I think that we've been. Normally, I'd ask Tino a bunch of other questions that are here, but I think the biggest one, Tino, is there's two left, and it would be: would you recommend somebody to live in Kumamoto as the first place that they lived in Japan?
Absolutely.
No question.
Absolutely. We got everything here, man. And you can't find it here. You can go 2 hours in any direction and find it there.
Okay. Awesome.
Like I said, we're right in the middle of Kyushu. We got Fukuoka up north. We got to the north, the east. We got Oita. We got Miyazaki to the east of us. We got Kagoshima down south. Nagasaki. We got everything here.
Okay, so I guess the last question then is, are you going to die in Japan?
Absolutely.
Yep.
No doubt about it. I'm not going anywhere. This is home for me.
Hell yeah, right?
This is home.
Is it?
I've invested too much time here to just get up and go.
Is it weird that I haven't really invested money? Like you bought a house here, but like I haven't invested money wise. But is it weird that I feel the same way, even though I've only been here for 10 years and you've gotten here? You've gotten a couple of years more than me.
Dude, I mean, it's all right here, man.
Right?
It's right. It has nothing to do with what you have.
Well, I mean, experience-wise, time-wise, etc.
The house, everything that I have right now is for Roman. I'm not. Like I said, I don't count the years that I've been here, and it's difficult for me to keep track with that but I am counting the number of years that I have left. Once you get as old as I am, I'm 51 years old, and it's like you start thinking about, damn, I only got maybe 20, 30 years left. What is he going to be like? What kind of man is he going to be with? That's where my mindset is right now. I want to make sure that he's changing lives in the future. Yeah. And I want to make sure that he has something to start whatever he wants to do in the future, where he doesn't have to build from zero. I want to make sure that he has something. He has something already invested in him, for when he starts whatever he wants to start. Yeah. I don't want him to start from the bottom like I did, man. I want him to be able to go in with comfort and say that, hey, Pops took care of me. You know, that's what he was here for. He made sure that he took care of me. And that's what I'm here. That's why I'm here for. So the remaining of time that I have here on this earth or on this island, everything I do, man, is for my family.
Guys, you're never gonna meet a more real person than Tino. I guarantee it.
You will not on the internet. You will not. Right.
Yeah. And with that being said, guys, I want to thank Tino so much for being on this podcast tonight. And
Thanks for inviting me, man.
yeah, dude, I had a long. This was a long talk, but I had a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, it's a blast, dude.
Yeah, I mean, it's rare that you get to meet somebody with just like such a. I don't know. There's a lot of people. I'm not gonna say in whatever communities, blah 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 blah, but you know, in Japan, especially when anywhere in the world, but especially like within the foreigner community in Japan, I feel like there's a lot of two-faced people that just kind of they use you. You know, they're trying to get personal gain from you. They're never real with you. They don't, you know, they always have like, you know, what the fuck do you call it? Like backside goals or whatever. They always have ulterior motives or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it feels like because of that, I still talk to people. I always give people the benefit of the doubt, but I'm very more careful about who I let into my inner circle now. But because of that, but when I meet people like Tony, are just like so off the bat genuine and real, and I can feel like when Tino, sorry
Tino, Tim, it doesn't matter.
Damn it, I shouldn't have talked to my friend Tony for like 6 hours before I called you.
It starts with a T. I understand.
I'm on a roll. There's a no, there's an E, and there's a T, and there's an O.
Yeah.
There's no, but when you talk to Tino, it's just like it feels like you're getting what's really there. It's like you're getting exactly what you're paying for. You know what you see is what you get, kind of thing, and it's really endearing because there's a lot, especially in Japan, where you're not supposed to show your real self. You know, you have like the three masks in Japan. You have the one that you show that you show everyone else, and there's the one that you show to the people close to you. Then there's the one that only you know, and it feels like Tino shares only that first mask with everybody. The one that, you know, everyone knows.
I mean, why
you.
take it off though? I mean,
yeah.
Why take the first one off? You know, it's Japanese have a word. It's called mendokusai.
Yeah,
and it's very, very suitable for that. I mean, why take that mask off? Why you get confused when you do that, and you end up lying on yourself. You know, it's like, oh damn, where am I at right now? You know, just keep that one mask on all the time, and people see it. People are able to appreciate that, respect it even.
Yeah, and I think that it's true that, I think, what is it? It's just it's nice, it's refreshing to talk to somebody like Tino when it's just I mean, Tino is the kind of guy that you want to meet, that's got your back when you come to Japan.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
Yeah, I mean, like, projection of positivity and just like, hey, this shit's bad sometimes in life, but you want to focus on just sitting here and crying, or you want to, like, go help finish that treehouse that we're making in the backyard kind of thing. But anyway, Tino, this is the part of the podcast, the final part where I let you plug whatever you want to plug. Make sure to check down the links down in the description below, guys, if you didn't catch any of it. But please, Tino, plug away. Websites, books, whatever you got, friends, businesses, go nuts.
Kyushu Danji 100. Go on any browser, doesn't matter, and type in Kyushu Danji 100, and that's where you're gonna find me. You can find my Instagram and Facebook on there as well. And just get at me. And like Sam said, man, if you're having any problems out here, if you're a foreigner or out here already or looking to come out here, and you want to become more, just familiar with Japanese people and the way they do things, the way they think, and the way they are in real life, get at me. Don't just get mad and go home without talking to somebody like me who can basically turn stuff around for you if you're willing to give it a shot,
Yeah, and I think that you guys also, Tino. I think I gave Tino the idea for possibly giving some tours in the future of Kumamoto to people who are interested.
If I have time, I'm able to do lunch.
Yeah.
But if you are coming out here, definitely hit me up, and I'll definitely love to meet you and hang out for a little bit and maybe I can take you around for a little bit, show you some stuff.
Okay.
Do it right.
Yeah, do it right. Do it the Tino
Yeah.
style. Yes. So, okay, is there anything else you'd like to plug? Your Mexican Samurai website at all? Or
No,
anything,
just go to the Kyushu dungeon, man. I want you to see the family, dude. I want you to see Roman. I want you to meet Minako. I want you to see the awesome life that I have here, and not
Okay.
just the shiny stuff, man. I want you to see what it is I actually do down here, and I want you to experience what keeps me here.
Yeah.
I still wake up in the morning and say to myself, for real, damn, I'm still here. I still do that. I still do that once in a while. But I look over and I see Minako and I see Roman. It's like, yep,
Yep.
yep, 51, and I'm doing good. I'm doing good. And everything, like I said, everything I do is for Romeo. Everything I do is for him. And I want you guys to meet him. So definitely go over to Kyushu Danji 100. It's going to be the first site that pops up. Click onto it. Come check us out.
Okay, awesome. And yeah, guys, and this is the part where I like to plug my stuff as well. If you guys, I want to say a big thankful shout out to all the people who supported this podcast on Patreon. Thanks, guys. It's with all of your support that I'm not only able to do YouTube almost semi full time, but also it just gives me motivation knowing that you guys care enough that you're putting your money where my mouth is, and that's great, and I love that. And for all of you guys who just come over and support with your viewing anyway, I totally thanks so much for that too, guys. I can't tell you how much I appreciate that. And if you guys again, if you want to see any of the links that we mentioned during this, please be sure to check the description down below if you're watching this on YouTube or Facebook. And if you're checking this out on iTunes, just make sure to check the description, I guess, for the iTunes, or go to the website where this is being announced for the podcast notes. And with that, just want to say thanks again, Tino.
Thanks for having me, man.
Okay, and Tino, before you leave, sorry, I've asked everyone to do this up until now, but before you leave, could I get you with me just to tell everybody to say stay black?
Stay black? What do I do? What do you want me to do?
Just say stay black. Then I say stay black.
All right, well, stay black.
Stay black, guys. Yeah,
Stay
buddy.
black. Okay.
Hey everybody, just some last minute announcements. If you're not already doing it, please consider following us on social media, links down below. Big thank you to everybody who clicked on the podcast to listen today. Do us a favor, and if you liked this podcast, help us grow by smashing that like button, subscribe bell to get notified when the new podcast comes out. Did you learn something new on today's podcast? Do you want to hear more? Which out of these 3 prefectures should we do a podcast on next? Let us know by emailing us at TkyoSam@gmail.com. If you are listening to this in your car and you want to conserve your phone data, consider following us on the other podcast platforms. We are currently on iTunes, Spotify, and SoundCloud. Links down below. Like always, this wouldn't be a TkyoSam production without giving a special sweet thank you / shout out to all of the TkyoSam fam who support us over on patreon.com/TkyoSam. Without your support, this podcast would be much harder to produce. Thank you all so much for the support. That's it for this month's Prefecture podcast. What did you think of it? Good, bad? Let us know in the comment section down below. Finally, we are always looking for new people to interview on this podcast. If you check out the video description below, you can find out what prefecture we still need to find people to interview for. If you know somebody, let us know by emailing us at TkyoSam@gmail.com. Like always, this has been the Where Come From Japan podcast. Thank you all for watching, and most importantly, stay black.